and then you've got to enforce them, or you don't have any restrictions. And that's a practical, day-to-day reality that a lot of Catholics don't, and priests and bishops don't accept.
Mm-hmm.
They just see everybody as being a creature of God, and therefore we've got to honor them, and we've got to be good to them, and so on. And I don't disagree with that, but they're living in an unreal world. Is the thing about it.
Yep, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So what church is the 9 o'clock Sunday morning?
Holy Trinity.
Which is where?
Georgetown. It's 2 blocks away from the main gate. I can give you the address.
Are we
Right
allowed to
across the street from the campus.
Are we allowed to bring posters and signs and cheer?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Just joking.
You know, Michelle said, "Oh my gosh, can we bring a sign that says you have been saved?"
Right. Or how about Save Us Too?
Absolutely.
Well, I had a discussion with a supporter of mine in Houston who was Jewish, very active in the Jewish community, and he was married to Jack Valenti's sister, who was Catholic. And the Valenti family's all Catholic, Italian Catholics.
Right.
And I said, I don't know how you and your wife have made this work with your children, because they were not bringing them up either Catholic or Jewish. They were going right down the middle. And he looked at me, he said something very important. He said, well, Bill, you've got to remember that to be a good Catholic, you've first got to be a good Jew. And that's a reality too.
Right. Except being a good Jew is hard enough. I couldn't be both. That's too much work.
Well, but where did Christ start?
He was a Jew like me.
Yeah, that's right.
He was. So how was Florida?
Wonderful.
Really?
It was wonderful except for one thing. We had been there for about 3 days, and we lost our water.
Lost your water?
Yeah. Never happened to me anywhere in the world before.
And the water supply to the house?
Yeah.
What happened?
Turned the tap on, nothing came out.
What happened?
Well, we called the water department, and my first thought was, well, I forgot to register as a new owner with the utility company.
Right.
But I knew that wasn't true, or I thought it wasn't true, and it wasn't. It turned out that there is a full house filter on most of the houses down there, which is outside of the house, and it filters all the water coming into the house. And it just broke. And there was water all over our front lawn, but there was no water coming into the house. So we had to get and it was, guess what? It was Saturday night before Easter.
Of course.
So we had to get a plumber in, and he did come in on Easter Sunday morning, which surprised me, and didn't take him very long to fix it. But he just removed the filter. And I had to make a decision of, do I want to put another new filter in or just do without a filter? And I decided, rather than taking another chance on the filter not working right, I'm just not going to use the filter. Why use the filter? The water's good.
How big is the filter?
I didn't see it. I don't know.
And where does it filter out, supposedly?
Pardon?
Where does it filter out? What does it filter? What's it for?
To be sure the water is pure.
So you just did without it?
I don't know of any house up here that's got a whole water filter for the whole
Never
house.
heard of that.
And the water down there is good. So anyhow, there you go.
So you guys have 3 houses.
Unfortunately, and I'm afraid that's going to be a problem for Sharon after I'm gone. because the expenses of maintaining all of them are significant.
Where are you going?
I hope to heaven, but I don't know. There are other options.
Well, that's an awful lot to maintain, to keep going. I mean,
No, Joel, it is, and particularly the Florida house, because we have homeowners' dues as well as taxes, real estate taxes, and even though there's no income tax down there, I don't benefit from that. But
you're not down there long enough.
that's right. But I do have to pay the property taxes, which are high, and the homeowners' taxes dues are significant too.
How much are the property taxes?
I think they're somewhere around $9,000 a year.
That's high
It is,
for
yeah.
a third home.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good sized home. It cost us a pretty penny. The purchase price was $892,000.
Wow. And every time you go there, it's expensive to fly.
Tell me about it.
And you have a car there?
No, and renting a car is not cheap either. The car rental was $468.
So why were you an honest public official? If you've been corrupt, you'd be taken care of. Why'd you stick with honesty? You got
The alternative is no good.
You got respect of the young people, respect of your colleagues, respect of history, but you could have money. What's more important?
Well, it depends. If you're Lyndon Johnson, money's more important.
Right.
You know, that's very interesting. Did you read Robert Carroll's book about the years of Lyndon Johnson?
I read one, skimmed the others, and he was obviously unbelievably corrupt.
Really?
Unbelievably corrupt.
My dad used to go around the state, and when he was a businessman, he used to go around and make speeches. And I was in high school one year, and he came back from a trip to Austin where he'd made a speech. And he said, "Bill, I met the biggest crook I've ever met." And it was the first time he'd ever met Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah.
And he picked him out as a crook, even just from that first meeting. And Robert Carroll confirmed that analysis, or that
Right.
judgment.
What does one do with, how do you put it, the images of one's childhood? For example, my childhood, early adolescence, political awakening was in the time of John Kennedy's administration, when Johnson came in. And you read now about Kennedy with women and all of that, and you see that we were all sold a bill of goods. In other words, what do you do when you have to adjust the images of your childhood to reality? It's a hard process.
It is. It is a hard process. And the way people are presented has a lot to do with the emotional acceptance or denial of that individual. And now, apparently, there's a similar thing going on with Chappaquiddick, the new movie. And the New York Times and ABC are vindicating Kennedy and basically implying that it was all Kopechne's fault.
Why was it her fault?
Huh?
Why?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But Teddy Kennedy was an endearing type of individual from my perspective. And I never agreed with him philosophically or voting, but